Today, Facebook is coming together with 27 organizations around the world to start the non-profit Libra Association and create a new currency called Libra. Libra's mission is to create a simple global financial infrastructure that empowers billions of people around the world. It's powered by blockchain technology, and the plan is to launch it in 2020. You can read more about it and the association here at https://libra.org. That's how Facebook's CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, announced Libra, his company's attempt to revolutionize not just payments, but money itself on a global scale. But what is Libra more exactly, and why, after the terrible, scandalous, privacy-violating, trust-rending, not good, very bad year, if not decade Facebook's had, why would anyone in their right mind or Mark Zuckerberg think for a smoking hot minute we'd trust them with our money? Tantalizingly or appallingly, you be the judge, Zuckerberg thinks he has an answer to that. Hit subscribe and poke that bell gizmo so YouTube will have to actually tell you about new videos when they go live, and then let's break it all down. I'm Rene Ritchie, and this is Vector. Who is Libra? Facebook is the face of Libra, no doubt about it, but for reasons I'll get into in a bit, it's deliberately not making itself all of Libra. Instead, Facebook has put together the Libra Association, a cadre of payment, services, blockchain, and venture capital companies to make things what Facebook calls fairer, but probably also to mitigate against the negative sentiment Facebook has engendered from end users and others in the industry over the last year. According to their website, Libra.org, that includes companies like MasterCard, PayPal, Visa, Booking Holdings, eBay, Farfetch, Lyft, Spotify, Uber, Iliad, Vodafone, Anchorage, Coinbase, Andreessen Horowitz, Thrive Capital, Creative Destruction, Kiva, Women's World Banking, and others. Buy-in isn't high, at least not at the megacorp scale. 10 million gets you a vote at the table, and all any single member can ever get is 1 vote or 1% of votes, including Facebook, or more specifically, Facebook's new Calibra subsidiary. Calibra is meant to, again, assuage fears that Facebook will have too much control over Libra and or use it as just another way to hoover up user data. Facebook claims Calibra and only Calibra will ever handle any and all dealings with Libra, and that Facebook won't be able to use Calibra data for ad targeting unless users opt in. And Zuckerberg says, "This is an important part of our vision for a privacy-focused social platform where you can interact in all the ways you'd want privately, from messaging to secure payments." But Facebook has a history of,
"I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further."
Just ask the departed founders of WhatsApp and Instagram. It's also easy to imagine any number of incentives, good or bad, offered to get us to opt into that little checkbox. Also, Facebook, like Google, is heavily invested in gaslighting people when it comes to privacy right now. Specifically in Facebook's case, they're not using the word to mean actual privacy, but to mean encryption, or private from people other than Facebook. Meanwhile, Facebook still pillages all the metadata and pads all the profiles, real and shadow, they possibly can. Also, the intentions of the other association members have been questioned as well. Here's Alphaville's take from the Financial Times. "Don't focus on who is in the association, focus on who is out, notably Apple, Amazon, Google, and all of the banks. Don't presume the presence of the more successful payment incumbents necessarily means their interests are aligned with those of Facebook. 10 million isn't too hefty a price tag for insider information about what Facebook is planning and or a vote at the table when the time comes to sabotage the system. Everyone else of any note is either a loss-leading company yet to make a profit, a VC, or a blockchain company, or an actual nonprofit." What is Libra? Well, Libra is Facebook and the Libra Association's just announced cryptocurrency, basically digital money. Bitcoin is the first best-known example. Instead of a country minting or printing or backing and controlling it, it's typically decentralized and uses a blockchain, literally a linked chain of time-stamped transactional blocks encrypted with peer-to-peer networking to protect the security, integrity, and the state of the currency. Or again, in Alphaville's words, "It's a glorified exchange-traded fund which uses blockchain buzzwords to neutralize the regulatory impact of coming to market without a license, as well as to veil the disproportionate influence of Facebook in what it hopes will eventually become a global digital reserve system." Now, Libra isn't truly decentralized. Facebook said it couldn't figure out a way to make a system that needs to scale the way Libra does fully decentralized in a way that performed reliably. In other words, the bigger it got, the slower it got. So they're using a quote-unquote permissioned model, at least for now. That does make the system more vulnerable to distrust and to outright attack, but Libra says that they'll halt transactions if they catch fire and will work towards a kinda sorta permissionless system in the future. Calibra, in addition to being Facebook's supposedly air-gapped Libra subsidiary, is also the name of their Libra wallet app. It'll be baked into the big blue Facebook app proper, as well as Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp, and while I don't think they've mentioned it yet, who knows, maybe Instagram at some point as well. Libra's blockchain is open source under the Apache 2 license. There's also a developer platform and programming language called Move, designed to make it easier and safer for others to build transactional apps and services based on Libra, and to integrate it into existing apps and services. That way, if you don't want to use Facebook's implementation, you'll hopefully have a bunch of others to choose from. Why is Libra? Facebook says, being able to use mobile money can have an important positive impact on people's lives because you don't have to always carry cash, which can be insecure, or pay extra fees for transfers. This is especially important for people who don't have access to traditional banks or financial services. Right now, there are around 1 billion people who don't have a bank account but do have a mobile phone. Wow. Altruism is tight. But let's get real here. Facebook has shown a canny ability over the last decade to acquire or duplicate any company that threatens their ability to harvest data or keep attention. They bought Instagram when it was getting all of our photos. They bought WhatsApp when it was taking all of our texts. And when Snapchat wouldn't sell, they copied almost all of Snapchat's most compelling features into Instagram, destroying most of Snapchat's growth potential, if not outright business. The threat here is more subtle, but perhaps no less existential. WeChat in China has already shown that when communications and payments combine, they can become the default platform for one of the biggest countries and economies on Earth, abstracting away even the likes of Android and Apple. Facebook is also heavily invested in identity, and outside of medicine, there's nothing like financial services when it comes to extracting and owning identity, not just online, but anywhere. Messaging and the associated payment and identity potential therein remains incredibly fragmented around the world, and it might just stay that way. But if anyone is going to have a lock on it outside China the way WeChat does inside, Facebook desperately wants it to be them. How is Libra? The way Libra works is fairly straightforward. You get something like Facebook's Calibra, exchange your local currency for Libra, send and receive payments with Libra, and then convert Libra back into your local currency when and if you want to. It's that last part that's especially key here. As long as you're using Libra, Facebook and the rest of the Libra Association will earn interest from deposits and investments of the local currency that you converted. Again, Alphaville. This is hardly a novel strategy. PayPal came to market doing the same thing until it transpired a money transmission license wasn't enough to allow such operations. Under a money transmission license, entities are limited to keeping deposits in regulated banking institutions. From a regulatory standpoint, the fact Libra intends to use the deposits to purchase interest-yielding securities but only has a money transmission license would usually be considered a big no-no. So yeah, there's that. But there's also quite a bit else that's worth digging into. First, to make this all work, Libra isn't going to be a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin that can shoot up or down wildly based on trading and speculation. It's going to be handled much more like a real-world currency, and that means the goal is stability. It's probably going to start somewhere around the value of the US dollar or European euro, so most people will be familiar with its base value, and then the Libra Association will manage its assets to keep it around there. That way, no one has to worry, not customers, not merchants, that the value of a Libra will drop between transactions, because then they'd want no part of it. Where is Libra? In addition to on-device through Calibra and similar apps and services, Libra really wants to be everywhere. For IRL usage in real-world stores, there'll be a regressively pragmatic QR code system straight out of Currency Playbook where you can scan theirs or they can scan yours. There's also apparently a plan to integrate with point-of-sale services like Square. But again, a lot of this boils down to Facebook never shipping its own mobile payment system like Apple Pay or Android Pay or Samsung Pay, much like they never shipped their own Maps or OS or any of the other infrastructure Apple, Google, and others have been laying for years. And if Libra wants to make the massive interest-based revenue it's slathering over, it's going to need a lot of people converting currency over, and that means giving them a lot of compelling reasons to do so. So Libra is doing a few things to incentivize adoption. First, Libra transactions aren't completely free. For normal use, the cost is really low, but there's still a cost so that, in theory, it'll prevent bad actors from trying to run through high volumes of fake transactions to spam or DDoS the system. But also so that Libra can give a percentage of that fee back to merchants to both encourage them to use it, and so that merchants can also pass a percentage of that percentage back to customers in the form of discounts or rewards, encouraging, you guessed it, them to use it. Second, Libra plans to issue incentives to pretty much every participant along the chain, from validators to signups to vendors to users. Third, there'll be a network for resellers, so everyone from your local gas station to who knows who will be able to do conversions, which may be great or may be all kinds of problematic. It depends entirely if they end up being an enabling force helping grow the currency or just a privileged middle layer sucking all the profit out of the system. Ultimately, Facebook and Libra sound like they'll do anything and everything within financial reason to get people to get their Libra on. When is Libra? Libra has gone into prototype with its testnet developer beta as of today and is supposed to launch officially sometime in the first half of 2020. Now, if this was all just real life, I'd turn my molecule hunt to high and suck the polluted cloud off all of it so they could see what's really going on inside. That's why I originally bought mine about a year and a half ago. I saw the results my friends were getting with just about the worst air quality imaginable. And that's because Molecule has technology that's capable of destroying air pollutants at a molecular level. Its technology has been verified by science, but more importantly, it's been tested by real people in the real world. And that's what makes it so compelling. Molecule helped allergy and asthma sufferers around the country better cope with their conditions and significantly reduce their symptoms. To get yours, go to molecule.com, that's MOLEKULE.com, and enter Vector at checkout to save $75. Thanks, Molecule, and thanks to all of you for supporting the show. So here's my bottom line. Facebook has shown us over the years that they simply cannot be trusted. From the derogatory, offensive curse words Mark Zuckerberg called those of us willing to give him our data at the very beginning, to the Cambridge Analytica and all the other scandals over the last year that made us wake up and realize the massive privacy abuses and security malpractice the company has been perpetrating since they became a company. When a company and the people who run it tell you so repeatedly who they are, how can we not believe them? Facebook is doing this because they're terrified Google or Amazon or Apple is going to do it and lock them out or marginalize them from the next great information, identity, and commerce grab. Good for them. Good for us will be having all those options from all those tech companies and hopefully some truly open alternatives. So all of them will have to compete based on AI if they're Google, ease of transaction if they're Amazon, privacy if they're Apple, and God knows what's left if they're Facebook. So I'm just gonna wait and watch and see and then carefully, deliberately decide who I'm gonna trust with the future of my transactions. But I'd love to know what you think. So hit like if you do, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and then hit up the comments and give me everything you've got on Libra. Are you all in or hard out, and why? Thank you so much for watching, and see you next video.